Hello humans, my name's SimPerfect and this is The Sims 4 playing with the new Vampire expansion pack. Oh, let me properly call that a game pack. And I'm making a Gothic Apothecary. Yeah. So my new vampires include one vegetarian, and I thought, well, what would be a kind of appropriate place for him to live? And I thought an apothecary has the kind of fantasy feel that you'd want for a vampire, and it's also to do with plants. I think it's simple as that. And then one big compromise that I've had to make is that this is a starter home. I could have quite easily cheated to put them into any fabulous mansion I wanted, but actually I wanted, because it's like a real playthrough with challenge from him being a vegetarian, I thought we may as well keep the fiscal challenge, the financial challenge of The Sims, and have them move into a starter home. So it's my vegetarian sim Jasper. We've got Celine, his sister, and Sapphire, his sister's daughter. With that family, they have 24,000 simoleons, and this lot, I think it was 2,000 simoleons, and so the house itself costs less than 22,000 simoleons. And so I've moved them in, and it all works. I've not had to cheat. I just feel a bit more wholesome about it. So to talk a bit more about the build, the house, so I say apothecary, and that is a shop, obviously, and then they're living in a shop. I guess the story is that they've taken on this shop and not necessarily going to run it like an apothecary, but they're going to live there. So the front room would be the shop floor, or would have been the shop floor. Kitchen in the back for preparing your lotions and your potions and your balms. A garden out back to grow stuff. Storage space downstairs, and then a living space upstairs. Now, because they're vampires, they're going to use the basement to sleep in coffins. And upstairs is going to be the room for Sapphire, which can be a bit more child-friendly, I suppose. You don't want to put the child in the basement. If you see here, I've put these big glass windows at the front, as if it's a panel of glass windows. I did look at some reference pictures of real-life apothecary buildings. An apothecary, I guess, is like an old term for a pharmacist, or an old idea of a pharmacist, a herbalist type thing, and they're selling powders and ointments for self-medication, I suppose. And it may or may not be kind of bunkum in some senses, putting on various herbs and weeds. It's not medicine in the modern sense. It's almost a more medieval-y way of looking at medicine. They did exist in the Victorian times, and I've kind of gone for a Victorian aesthetic with these vampires, and particularly with this house. It's quite a classic thing over here in Britain to have what we call a 2-up, 2-down. So there are 2 rooms on the ground floor, 2 rooms on the upper floor, and then that house would be copied into a terrace. So it's a little bit like that. You can imagine this shop should really be part of a larger parade of shops. But obviously I'm not going to create that, because that would get too fussy and certainly wouldn't fit into our budget. Now, I remember struggling with placing these windows just to try and balance everything off. So you'll see me flip back and forth. I think I end up with that's the one. I end up with those double windows from the game pack. But I think I changed the grate in front of it to the slightly slimmer semicircle one. Now, I really blew the budget on the roof. So you've seen I've made the roof sag a little. I didn't want to make that curve too big because it would appear oriental, a kind of Far East thing, and that's not what we want. It's more that through time the roof has sagged down. Now, so annoying. Another annoying thing about this building was that you see on the tower, the left-hand corner of the tower as you look at it from the front, there's no corner thing in the pattern. The bricks don't have the corner thing, and I couldn't work out how to fix it. If you know how to fix that, let me know, and I'll fix it in the file. I guess I'll upload this to the... Wow, I can't think of words today, can I? I'll upload this to the gallery so that you can play around with it. As I say, it is a starter home for a family. I don't think you could afford it if you were a single person moving in. I think you have to have 3 people in the family in order to afford it, but you can start with a small family. And it's 2 bedrooms with, if you count the basement as a bedroom, but you could quite easily adapt the upper bedroom to be like a double adult bedroom. And my plan for the Let's Play is that we're gradually going to expand the building in a slightly higgledy-piggledy ramshackle way, so that it maintains its weird Victorian vampire style, you know. I didn't want to make a massive mansion, A, because I don't really have the time, but B, because it just drags you down. With a really big building project, I find I can hit a wall very easily. This is actually the second version that I've made of this build idea that I've had. The first one, I didn't hold myself to a budget, and it was nice. It was basically the same but bigger, but it was just a bit too fancy, and you end up moving in and not needing to do anything because you've got everything you need. So with this one, the Let's Play is going to be really hard. You can see what I'm doing with the building to make it a properly Gothic in the true sense of the word. Well, let's talk about the word Gothic, but in the architectural sense of the word, these spires are making me kind of true to my word in keeping it a Gothic apothecary. We can also talk about Gothic as meaning literally of the Goths, who were a tribe during the fall of the Roman Empire. The kind of Goths coming in, and the reason why it can be an insult is that they're seen as barbarians. We would also use the word Vandal as an insult. They were another set of barbarians in the Roman era. The Goths, Ostrogoths, Visigoths, meaning the East Goths and the West Goths, aren't entirely barbarians. We think of them as barbarians because the Romans thought of them as barbarians and they wrote it all down. The problem with the Goths is that they didn't write anything down. So what am I talking about? Why am I talking about this? Who the hell am I? Okay, so the Goths. It's a Gothic apothecary, not in the sense of Ostrogoths or Visigoths. Yeah, obviously. It's Gothic in the sense of that kind of architecture. But then there is a little shade of Gothic in the modern sense of the word, I suppose, in the sense of the colour black, grim stylings, quasi-Victorian, luxurious but deathly style. And then I suppose if we're taking the term Gothic to also mean Gothic horror, it is quite like Gothic horror in terms of literature and film. It's taking that kind of inspiration. So there you go. That's my meditation on the word Gothic. So there's our front room. I've got a little cubbyhole with places to hold your lotions and potions, as if this were still the apothecary's shop front. Here's the kitchen. It's pretty grim, to be honest, but that was kind of my idea. Is the point. During the Let's Play, we're going to fill it out and gradually add more stuff, like a dining table. We've got a sofa for the adults to eat on, and a high chair for little Sapphire for now. Yeah, I had to go through at the end and take out some superfluous stuff to make sure I could move in without having to cheat. So some of the stuff you see me put in, I have to then go back and take it out. This is our basement. We've got 3 rooms, but I couldn't afford to furnish them all. So there are 2... wow. Coffins, that's the word. There are 2 coffins. I think I even delete the walls of this spare rooms down there to save on some dough. I'm imagining somehow that the Mandrake brother and sister have inherited this, or have somehow come into ownership of this apothecary and are deciding to live in it. They're probably moving to, in my mind, Britain. I know this room. Oh, room is not the word. This location is maybe more American, but I'm going to gradually de-Americanize it because that's just my taste. Yeah, going to kind of Victorianize it. So we'll have this apothecary, and I might gradually change the other houses as well. But I'm imagining the pair of them have arrived in this grim vision of Britain, and are living still out of the coffins that they've been transported in. Is it Shelley's vampire, Dracula, who gets shipped over to Yorkshire in a coffin? Is it even filled with dirt? So that's the image that I'm thinking of, where they've literally been packed up and dumped in the basement, and then someone opens them and goes, "Hello, we are here," because of course vampires are Eastern European. Well, I didn't realise this Let's Play would turn into some kind of morality story about the positive impact immigrants can bring, and let me tell you, that is high on my priority list at the moment, thinking about all the ills of the world and how good things can often be vilified. Let's leave that one alone for a little while. Here's the Toddler's room, Sapphire's room. It's blue, obviously, because she's Sapphire. I love that massive, outsized doll of her bat. It's gorgeous. The whole thing has had to end up being quite Spartan, because we've had our limit on money, but I think it's fine. It's good for a starter, and if you want to use it yourself, it means you can add in your own stuff, I suppose, but it's still got everything that you absolutely need. We've got our bathroom in lavish style. We've got place for a toddler, 2 vampire sleeping places, kitchen, kind of living space, and then I've got like something like 183 simoleons left over to do with as we please. What I'm probably going to do is send people straight out to work, so we can at least have a few hundred more simoleons to buy things like plants. I'm not entirely sure how we're going to do it. I believe there is a plasma fruit plant in this world, I think behind the big mansion. So I need to send Jasper out to harvest that, if he possibly can, as soon as possible, because he is not going to drink anything that came from a human. So I'm not even sure he's going to have plasma packs, because I think they're just donated blood. And if he's a vegetarian, he's not going to have that. Not at all. Even willing blood, he is not going to accept. I'm not even sure if it's possible. We might have an early death on our hands in this Let's Play. We shall see. I don't think what's her name? Celine. I don't think she has any qualms. She is certainly an alpha vampire type. She's going to go out and take what she needs for herself and her child. And I imagine she kind of puts up with her brother. They probably don't see eye to eye in terms of vampire morality. But we'll see how that plays out. Here we go, just adding in the shoppy kind of details. What traits did we go for? Vampire lair, I think, was an obvious one. Didn't go for the vampire ley line. I don't think we'll be having too many children, because of course vampires live forever. Unless you choose to age them up or kill them. So we've got good soil for Jasper. And we've got bracing breezes, which manages to be in keeping with the theme for like role-playing, but it's also good for Celine, because she's going to be quite physical. Haven't decided yet whether she's going to be actually a criminal, or maybe in sports. I'm not sure. We'll see what she decides to do in the Let's Play. Okay, so we're going to have a look around my Gothic Apothecary. I've just moved in the family, and let's have a look around. So I made this as a starter home. It therefore is a little bit compromised in terms of what we actually have in it. I'd love to make it absolutely beautiful and gorgeous, but of course I've got a limited amount of money. This family started off with 24,000 simoleons, and as you can see, having only just moved them in, they've now got 183 left. So we need to get earning some money pretty quick so we can furnish the rest of the house. Got a rubbishy sofa in our nice purple front room, which I'm imagining is the shop front from the old apothecary, as you can see here. Round the back is a kind of garden kitchen, big windows, but pretty scruffy inside. And then he's going to have a bit of a garden round here, but I wanted it to be a patio, but couldn't afford it, so that's going to be here, where he plants his medicinal herbs. This coffee sign, I think, looks a bit like a magic potion, so that's where the apothecary, why I've chosen to use it for the apothecary. Let's go up the stairs. Bing! We've got a nice little landing, Victorian, well, Gothic-y Victorian themed bathroom, and a child's room for Sapphire, obviously blue colours, bit of a bat thing, potty, so she can spend most of her time there, unless she's being fed downstairs. I don't know whether I'll end up putting her high chair here as well, just to make sure that she can stay in the same place. She doesn't have to go up and down the stairs. I love these cloud lights. I wanted to make it seem nice in here for her, although, you know, the rest of it is a bit Spartan. Okay, down. Okay, and here is the basement with 2 coffins for our elder vampires to live in. So it's pretty Spartan, as I say, pretty basic, but I wanted to get the flavour of an apothecary without necessarily breaking the bank. I know you can do cheats and stuff to move people in, but it feels a bit more like authentic if we have a limited amount of money. I didn't want to compromise on the roof, though. That's what really makes it technically Gothic architecture, is these pointy bits pointing to God in the sky, like a Gothic cathedral or something. And I'm pretty pleased with how it came out in terms of looks. What I'm going to do during Let's Play, if it keeps on going long enough, is that we're going to expand this house in a higgledy-piggledy Weasley's house kind of way, and just gradually make it more and more exciting and intricate, and then maybe I'll be able to share it once it's like done, in inverted commas, although I have a feeling a house like this is never really done. Okay, let me know what you think, and hopefully I'll see you next time when we're going to start playing with the family. I'm super excited. Love her eyes. Okay, bye for now.